You have watched them grow up right before your eyes. You remember the adorable toddlers, the shy new arrivals, the babies of the bunch who captured the hearts of millions. For years, Alex and Emma have been the quiet anchors of the Johnston family, the youngest members who seem to float along with the chaos, protected by their status as the babies of the family. But lately, the silence coming from their corner of the house has become deafening. If you have been paying close attention to the recent seasons, you have noticed the shift. The one-word answers, the eyes glued to the smartphone screens, the physical distance they place between themselves and their parents, Trent and Amber. Most viewers brush this off as typical teenage rebellion, just a phase of moodiness that every adolescent goes through. But we have uncovered something much darker, a narrative that the show's producers are desperately trying to edit around. Insider theories and reports suggest that this is not just teenage angst. It is a calculated, silent resignation. They aren't just being quiet, they are biding their time. Alex and Emma, the two children who have spent their entire developmental lives under the glare of studio lights, are hiding a deep-seated resentment and a secret plan to escape the Johnston family dynamic forever. They have watched their older siblings struggle, fight, and fail to break free, and they have learned from those mistakes. They are not going to fight loud battles. They are planning a silent, permanent exit. Before we expose the shocking evidence and the secret alliance that is threatening to tear the family apart from the inside, you need to take a second right now. If you want to stay ahead of the curve and know what is really happening behind the scenes of your favorite reality shows, you need to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We are digging up the truth that TLC doesn't want you to see, and you do not want to miss what we have coming next. Turn on those notifications so you are the first to know when the House of Cards finally falls. Now, let's shatter the illusion. To understand why Alex and Emma are on the verge of walking away, we have to go back to the beginning. We have to look at the myth of the happy kids that Trent and Amber have sold to the world for over a decade. When the show first started, Alex and Emma were the ultimate selling point. They were cute, they were vulnerable, and their adoption stories were tugging at the heartstrings of America. We saw a family that appeared to be saving these children, giving them a life of opportunity and love. In those early seasons, the camera captured every giggle, every milestone, and every hug. It was the perfect picture of a blended family overcoming the odds. But what we didn't realize then, and what is becoming painfully clear now, is that this image was carefully curated. It was a brand. The Happy Kids narrative was a product, and Alex and Emma were the stars. But imagine growing up where your childhood trauma, your adjustment to a new country, and your medical procedures are all content for a television show. While the older kids, Jonah, Anna, and Liz, had some semblance of a life before the cameras took over, Alex and Emma have been molded by the production. Their entire sense of self has been constructed in an editing room. As we look back at the footage from 5 or 6 years ago, we see children who are eager to please. They look at Trent and Amber for validation constantly. They perform for the cameras because that is what they were taught brings love and approval. But as they have transitioned into their teenage years, that eagerness has vanished, replaced by a cold, hard wall of indifference. The family wants you to believe that they are just shy or private. They want you to believe that Alex is just dealing with anxiety and that Emma is just focused on her friends. But that is a convenient lie to cover up the reality of emotional burnout. These aren't just bored teenagers. These are employees who are tired of the job. The happy kids myth is crumbling because the actors are refusing to play their parts anymore. You can see it in the way they interact with the production crew, or rather, how they avoid them. There is a sense that they have realized their lives are being consumed for entertainment, and they are checking out. Let's dive into the proof, the behavioral evidence that screams of unhappiness. We need to look past the dialogue and focus on what isn't being said. Body language experts often talk about blocking behaviors, subconscious movements people make when they want to protect themselves or hide their true feelings. In recent episodes, watch Alex closely when he is in a room with Trent. He rarely makes direct eye contact. He angles his body away from his father, often hunching his shoulders or crossing his arms. This isn't just bad posture, it is a defensive shield. It is the physical manifestation of someone who feels scrutinized and judged. Trent's parenting style has always been intense, often crossing the line into controlling, and for a sensitive kid like Alex, this pressure cooker environment is suffocating. We have seen scenes where Trent tries to motivate Alex, but the reaction isn't inspiration, it's shutdown. Alex goes gray. He stops responding. He retreats into himself. This is a classic psychological response called gray rocking, where a person becomes as uninteresting and unresponsive as a rock to avoid further conflict or abuse. Alex has mastered this. He knows that if he engages, he loses, so he has stopped engaging altogether. Then look at Emma. Her withdrawal is different but equally telling. Emma was once the bubbly, laughing bright spot of the show. Now, there is a guardedness to her that is heartbreaking to watch. When Amber launches into one of her lectures or tries to micromanage Emma's life, look at Emma's eyes. They glaze over. She nods mechanically, saying yes, ma'am, or okay, but the lights are off. She is physically present but emotionally miles away. This is a survival mechanism. Emma has learned that expressing her true opinion or pushing back only leads to more lectures and more camera time focusing on her rebellion, so she gives them nothing. She has built a fortress around her emotions that her parents cannot penetrate. This isn't the behavior of a child who feels safe and heard. It is the behavior of a child who is waiting out the clock. But the most damning evidence doesn't come from the show itself. It comes from what they are doing when the cameras aren't rolling. We have turned our attention to the world of social media, where Alex and Emma have a bit more control over their narrative, and the difference is striking. If you scour their Instagrams and TikToks, you start to see a pattern that completely contradicts the tight-knit family story. When Emma posts, look at who she is with. It is friends. It is her cheer squad. It is random acquaintances. Her feed is a vibrant, colorful explosion of life, but the Johnstons are noticeably relegated to the background or obligated promotional posts for the show. When she is with her friends, she is smiling with her whole face. Her body language is open, relaxed, and joyful. She is dancing, laughing, and looking like a normal, happy teenager. Compare that to the stiff, posed photos with her family where the smile doesn't quite reach her eyes. She is publicly showing us where her true loyalties lie. She has built a chosen family outside of the Johnston household, a support system that doesn't require her to perform or be critiqued. She is signaling to the world that her real life happens when she steps away from her parents. Alex's social media presence is even more cryptic. He posts far less frequently, which in itself is a sign of someone who wants to hide from the public eye. But when he does, it is often focused on his hobbies, his solitary interests, or vague, moody captions that hint at inner turmoil. There is a distinct lack of family pride in his digital footprint. While Amber is constantly posting about family first and creating this image of unity, Alex and Emma's digital lives are screaming for independence. They are curating identities that have nothing to do with being a Little Johnston. They are trying to establish themselves as individuals, separate from the collective brand, and this is a crucial step in their exit strategy. They are testing the waters, seeing if they can exist in the public eye without the crutch of the family name, and every like and comment they get on those non-family posts validates their desire to leave. We also have to talk about the dynamic between the siblings. For years, we watched Anna be the scapegoat of the family. We watched her get criticized, punished, and emotionally cornered by Trent and Amber. Alex and Emma were the observers of this trauma. They sat in the back seat and watched how their sister was treated. There is a growing theory among the fan base that this witnessing of trauma has profoundly affected them. They saw that fighting back, like Anna did, only put a target on your back. They saw that trying to be perfect, like Jonah or Liz, came with crushing pressure and eventually a loss of independence. So they chose a third option: silence. They are the quiet observers who have analyzed the game and realized the only winning move is not to play. There is a sense that they are terrified of becoming the next target. If they speak up, if they act out, the eye of Sauron turns to them. So they keep their heads down, they give the producers the bare minimum, and they wait. But there is something even deeper happening here, something that binds Alex and Emma together in a way the other siblings can't understand. This brings us to the unspoken bond of the adopted children. While Anna is also adopted, her relationship with the parents has been so volatile that she has often been isolated. Alex and Emma, however, came into the family later and have always been paired together. Insider speculation suggests that there is a secret alliance forming between these two. They share a background and a unique sense of displacement that the biological kids, Jonah and Liz, will never comprehend. Being adopted into a family is complex enough. Being adopted into a reality TV family where your integration is filmed for entertainment adds a layer of psychological complexity that is almost impossible to quantify. There is a theory circulating that Alex and Emma feel like outsiders in their own home, props in a play written by Trent and Amber. This shared feeling of being othered has created a secret language between them. Watch the scenes where the family is gathered around the dinner table or sitting in the living room discussing some manufactured family drama. Look at the glances between Alex and Emma. They often exchange quick, knowing looks. It's a subtle communication, a flicker of the eyes that says, "Are you seeing this?" Or, "Here we go again." They validate each other's reality in a house where gaslighting seems to be a common parenting technique. When Trent goes on a rant, Alex will look at Emma, and she will give a nearly imperceptible nod. They are allies in a trench warfare they never signed up for. This alliance is their lifeline. It's the only thing keeping them sane. They provide each other with the emotional validation they aren't getting from their parents. Rumors suggest that they spend hours talking in private, away from the microphones, discussing their plans for the future, a future that does not include the cameras or the stifling control of Amber Johnston. We have to consider the financial aspect as well. As they get older, they are becoming aware of the economics of the show. They know their value. They know that without the kids, the show is just Trent and Amber, and nobody wants to watch that. But unlike the older kids, who might have been manipulated into financial dependence, Alex and Emma are growing up in the era of the creator economy. They see the potential to make their own way. However, the control Trent and Amber exert over the family finances has always been a point of contention and mystery. Are Alex and Emma seeing the money they earn, or is it being managed for them? This financial ambiguity is likely fueling their desire to break free. They are smart kids. They see the writing on the wall. They know that as long as they are under Trent and Amber's roof, they are under their financial thumb. The plan to escape isn't just emotional, it's financial. They are likely counting down the days until they have legal access to their own earnings, or until they can legally sign contracts without parental consent. The timeline for this abandonment is approaching faster than anyone realizes. The show is running out of runway with the older kids moving on, and the pressure is shifting entirely to Alex and Emma to carry the storylines. But they are refusing to carry that weight. The recent seasons have shown a massive drop in their enthusiasm. They are giving us nothing, and that is the ultimate rebellion. By being boring, by being disengaged, they are sabotaging the show that has held them captive. They are making themselves bad TV on purpose. If they are unwatchable, the cameras might finally leave. It is a brilliant, subconscious strategy of passive resistance. They are destroying the product to save themselves. Think about the way Alex handles his romantic relationships on the show. It is awkward, forced, and uncomfortable. He clearly hates discussing his love life with his parents on camera. Yet, the producers and his parents force these conversations. Every time they push him to talk about his girlfriend, you can see a little bit of trust die in his eyes. He wants privacy, a normal teenage desire, but in the Johnston household, privacy is a commodity they don't possess. This constant invasion of privacy is the fuel for his resentment. He realizes that nothing is sacred. His first kiss, his first heartbreak, his struggles with school, it's all just content. And for a young man trying to find his identity, that is a nightmare. He is realizing that to have a real life, he has to leave the show. And to leave the show, he has to leave the family. Emma's trajectory is equally telling. She has found success in cheerleading and her social circles, places where she is judged on her merit and her personality, not her role in a reality show. She is tasting freedom. She is realizing that she can be Emma the cheerleader, or Emma the friend, not just Emma from 7 Little Johnstons. That taste of identity is addictive. Once you realize you can exist outside the bubble becomes unbearable. She is spending more and more time away from the house, finding reasons to stay late at school or hang out with friends. These aren't just social calls. They are practice runs for moving out. She is building a network of support that will catch her when she finally jumps. The happy kids are gone. In their place are 2 young adults who are disillusioned, resentful, and incredibly smart. They have watched the game played for years and they know all the rules. But instead of playing to win the producer's favor, they are playing to get ejected from the game entirely. They are not going to have the explosive blowouts that Anna had. They aren't going to have the failure to launch issues that Jonah faced. They are plotting a clean break, a disappearing act. One day, the cameras will turn on, and Alex and Emma simply won't be there. They will have faded into the background, moved into their own lives, and cut the cord that has tethered them to this toxic fame for their entire childhoods. The signs are everywhere if you are willing to look past the editing. The body language, the social media silence, the secret glances, it all points to one conclusion. Alex and Emma are packing their emotional bags. They are checking out. And the Johnston family is about to lose the very thing that made them famous, their children. The countdown has begun, and the parents don't even see it coming because they are too busy looking at the camera lens instead of their children's eyes. But we see it, and now, so do you. This brings us to the most explosive theory currently circulating through the deepest corners of the fandom, a theory that completely reframes everything you think you know about the Johnston family dynamic. It is the theory of the adopted kids alliance. While the show portrays the family as a cohesive unit, insider reports and fan sleuths have pieced together a different reality. There is a growing belief that being adopted and growing up on television has created a unique, unspoken trauma that only Alex and Emma, and to a tragic extent Anna, can truly understand. They are the ones who were brought into this environment, not born into it, and for Alex and Emma specifically, their integration into the family coincided almost perfectly with the family's rise to fame. They didn't just get new parents, they got a production crew. This has fostered a deep sense of isolation that the biological children, Jonah and Liz, simply cannot comprehend. Jonah and Liz have always had a different standing, a different biological tether to Trent and Amber's narcissism. But for Alex and Emma, the connection feels conditional. It feels based on performance. And now, they are allegedly forming a united front to survive it. Observe the footage from the last 2 seasons with this theory in mind. Fans have noticed that Alex and Emma have developed their own secret bond, a mode of communication that bypasses the parents entirely. They are not just siblings, they are fellow survivors in a house they feel trapped in. There are moments where the tension in the room is thick enough to cut with a knife, usually caused by one of Trent's aggressive mood swings or Amber's passive-aggressive critiques. And you will see Alex and Emma gravitate toward each other physically. They stand shoulder to shoulder. They retreat to the same corners. It is a subconscious defense formation. They are protecting each other's flanks. We have received anonymous tips suggesting that this alliance goes beyond just body language. There are whispers that the two of them have made a pact. They have seen how the family machine chewed up and spit out Anna. They watched in horror as Anna was belittled, blamed for everything, and essentially pushed out of the nest before she was ready, only to be mocked for her struggles. Alex and Emma are smart. They learned a brutal lesson from watching Anna's torture. Do not fight back loudly, or you will be crushed. Instead, plan quietly. The theory posits that the moment Emma turns 18, the clock starts ticking on the final countdown. Unlike Anna, who sought validation, or Jonah, who sought direction, Alex and Emma are seeking only one thing: exit velocity. They are reportedly pooling their resources. While the exact details of the Johnston children's salaries have always been shrouded in mystery, it is estimated that after a decade on air, there is a significant amount of money at stake. The question is, do they have access to it? Rumors suggest that Alex and Emma are acutely aware of their financial worth and are quietly preparing to secure their funds the moment they are legally able to do so, without parental oversight. The plan is not to move down the street like Liz. The plan is not to live in a relentless state of dependency like Jonah. The plan is to sever ties completely. They are looking at the map and finding the furthest point away from Barnesville, Georgia, that their money can take them. Think about the Anna factor again, because it is the key to this entire secret plan. Anna was the test case. She was the canary in the coal mine. Alex and Emma saw that even when Anna tried her hardest to please Trent and Amber, starting her own business, buying a home, being independent, it was never enough. She was still the black sheep. This realized fear has radicalized the youngest too. They know that no matter what they do, they will be managed and criticized if they stay in the orbit of their parents. So, they are choosing the nuclear option. Sources speculate that Alex and Emma discuss this constantly in private. They are waiting for graduation. They are waiting for the legal age of adulthood. And they are waiting for the end of their contracts. The silence we see on screen isn't emptiness. It is calculation. They are enduring the final years of their sentence. Furthermore, There is a darker aspect to this alliance: the emotional disconnect from the parents. You can see it in the way Alex treats Amber now. There used to be a mama's boy dynamic, but that has soured into a tolerate-hate relationship. He tolerates her affection for the cameras, but he flinches. He pulls away. He offers no information about his inner life. He has learned that information is ammunition, and he refuses to arm his mother against him. Emma, similarly, has stopped seeking Amber's approval for her fashion or her friends. She just does it. She presents a fait accompli. This shift in power dynamics is terrifying for control freaks like Trent and Amber. They can feel the grip slipping, which is why we are seeing them become even more intense and unreasonable in recent episodes. They are trying to tighten a fist around water. The harder they squeeze, the faster Alex and Emma slip through their fingers. The escape plan also involves a systematic replacement of the family unit. We touched on the social media aspect, but look deeper. Emma's immersion in the cheer world and her friend group is not just a hobby, it is a restructuring of her support system. She is actively auditioning people to replace her family. She is finding mother figures and coaches, sister figures and teammates, and confidants and friends who aren't on the payroll. She is building a raft so that when she jumps off the sinking ship of the Johnston family reality show, she doesn't drown. Alex is doing the same through his online communities and his technical interests. He is finding validation in his skills, not his identity as a little person on TV. They are constructing parallel lives that Trent and Amber have no access to, and once those lives are sturdy enough to support them, they will cross the bridge and burn it behind them. There are rumors that producers are having a nightmare time getting usable footage from the younger two. They are reportedly refusing to answer specific interview questions, giving dead-end responses, and refusing to perform drama. In the reality TV world, this is the ultimate weapon. If you don't give them drama, you become useless to them. But since they are the babies and the future of the show, the producers are stuck. They have to film them, but Alex and Emma are on a silent strike. They are sabotaging the production from the inside by being boring. It is a brilliant, passive-aggressive strategy to get canceled. If the ratings drop because the kids are unengaging, the show ends. If the show ends, the cameras leave. If the cameras leave, they get their lives back. It is a long game, and they are playing it to perfection. We must also address the horrific possibility that Trent and Amber know this is happening. Watch Trent's eyes in the confessional interviews when he talks about Alex growing up. There is fear there. He knows he doesn't have the same hold over Alex that he had over Jonah. Jonah was easily manipulated. Alex is stubborn and stonewalling. Trent tries to mask this fear with bravado and harsh discipline, claiming he is making a man out of Alex, but in reality, he is driving a wedge so deep it will never be removed. Amber's anxiety is manifesting in her obsession with the older kids' dramas, Liz's baby, Anna's relationships, because she can't control the younger two anymore. She is focusing on the fires she can still stoke because the ice coming from Alex and Emma is freezing her out. The culmination of this timeline is approaching. When Emma graduates, when the tassels are turned, do not expect a tearful goodbye and a promise to visit every Sunday. Expect a sudden and jarring silence. Insider theories suggest that there is a go-bag plan. Documents, cash, and essentials are being readied. It sounds dramatic, perhaps too cinematic, but when you live in a house where your privacy is violated for profit daily, drama becomes your reality. They are not planning a move, they are planning an extraction. They saw how difficult it was for Anna to just move out. The guilt trips, the inspections, the constant criticism of her independence. They are not going to give Trent and Amber the chance to inspect their new apartments. They aren't going to give them a key. They are going to ghost them. And this leads us to the grand conclusion, the tragic reality of what we are witnessing. We are watching the slow-motion disintegration of a family that sold its soul for fame. The narrative arc of the 7 Little Johnstons was supposed to be about overcoming physical challenges in a world built for average-sized people. Instead, it has become a dark documentary about the psychological toll of child stardom. Alex and Emma are the collateral damage. Growing up as a reality TV star has stolen their childhood and replaced it with a storyline. They don't have memories, they have episodes. They don't have private moments, they have bonus clips. Their desire to escape isn't a teenage rebellion. It is a primal survival instinct. They are clawing their way out of a cage made of cameras. When they finally leave, It will be the ultimate indictment of the toxic environment Trent and Amber created. The parents traded their children's privacy for a paycheck and a platform, justifying it as raising awareness. But the only thing Alex and Emma are aware of is that they were used. The resentment we see bubbling under the surface is the realization that their parents were their employers first and their caregivers second. The show required them to be characters. The funny one, the shy one, the troublemaker. But they are complex human beings who are tired of the script. The tragedy is that to save themselves, they have to orphan themselves. They have to reject the people who raised them, because those people refuse to see them as anything other than cast members. The day is coming. The signs are there in every eye roll, every silence, every locked door, and every Instagram post that excludes the parents. Alex and Emma are not the future of the 7 Little Johnstons. They are the ones who will end it. They will be the first to truly abandon the family, because they are the first to realize that the family stopped existing a long time ago. It was replaced by the brand. And they are resigning from the brand effective immediately. When the dust settles, and the show is finally canceled, Trent and Amber will be left in that big house filled with cameras but empty of children, wondering where it all went wrong. But you won't have to wonder. You saw the signs. You watched the silence grow. You knew about the secret alliance. This is the secret history of the future of the Johnston family. It is not a story of love. It is a story of escape. And as Alex and Emma plot their exit, the only question left is, will they make it out before the cameras break them completely? If this deep dive opened your eyes to the dark truth behind the smiles, make sure you hit that like button. Share this video with every Johnston fan you know, because the truth needs to be heard. And don't forget to subscribe, because as soon as the next piece of evidence drops, as soon as the first move of this secret escape plan is made, we will be here to break it down for you. The end of the era is near. Are you watching?